So let's just get right into it. Forbes, make up your mind on whose side you're on. The corporate media, or are you shitting on Rings of Power? Because literally, I I don't know who you are anymore. But I thought this article would be fun to go through and watch me go insane over. The culture war surrounding Rings of Power was more interesting than the series itself. From Danny D. Palacido, don't know who that is, senior contributor. I write about film, television, pop culture, and other fun stuff. No, you don't. There is a cameo in this video. I'll say that. And in this article. Before it even aired, The Rings of Power was engulfed in controversy. Tolkien fans were alarmed to hear that Jeff Bezos now held the rights to their beloved IP and his Smaug-like talents, especially after it was revealed that Bezos intended to replicate the success of HBO's Game of Thrones. Yeah, because Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones, and Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings, the godfather to all modern fantasy and high fantasy. There is such a love for Tolkien that the show bastardized. And you can see, at least, I want to say it was the last 3 bastardizations in my thoughts of it, over on Adam's channel, and This is Mordor Country, who I'll also have linked down in the description, because I'm going to link a lot. The fact that Amazon only had the right to one of the Lord of the Rings appendices, a summary of the Second Age, and none of Tolkien's stories, was another concern when Tolkien scholar Tom Shippey mysteriously left the series. He was fired. He was fired for disparaging... I need to turn this down a little bit. He was fired for disparaging Amazon and saying what they were making wasn't Tolkien. After serving as a consultant, fans grew worried that the adaptation would not be faithful, more focused on building the Amazon brand than respecting Tolkien's work, and it failed at both. Let's be real, it failed. Not to mention Peter Jackson's near-perfect Lord of the Rings trilogy raised the bar incredibly high, and fans saw what happened with the disastrous Hobbit trilogy, which cynically stretched a short children's novel of little more than 300 pages into 3 bloated blockbusters, showing that corporate greed could easily taint Tolkien's legacy, even with Jackson's involvement. When the first trailer of Rings of Power dropped, the reaction was overwhelmingly negative. No shit, Sherlock. Shoddy CGI and an emphasis on floaty, weightless action sequences hinted that the worst fears of the fan base were coming true. Commentators on YouTube spammed the trailer with a poignant quote falsely attributed to Tolkien: "Evil is unable to create anything new. It can only distort and destroy what has been invented or created by the forces of good." No, but it basically was what was happening there. And they wanted to say it wasn't a Tolkien quote. I actually think it was a Tolkien quote because nobody actually seems to know. But they want to constantly go into this and say, oh, they were just trolls. You know, everybody loved it. We caught Amazon deleting comments, deleting downvotes, hiding views, bolstering views, rigging their numbers, playing games all the time, so people ended up going with some new stuff to show how much they hated this. Wait, what? Oh, never mind. That's other stuff. The diverse casting of the new series also sparked a loud racist backlash. No, it didn't. You see, you only think it was racist, but no, in reality, it wasn't racist. We were pointing out these things don't make sense. Tolkien's world, like many fantasy world, is a place of racial essentialism, and the fan base has always been infected to some degree by racists. All they're doing is talking about one group of racist people that seem to like Tolkien. That's not all of us, you freaks. While Tolkien described his own political beliefs as leaning towards anarchism, a left-wing idea. No. Just means without government. And openly despised the horrors of Nazism. Yes. He called them stupid. And apartheid, the far right. No! Shut up! Has always found his framing of orcs as irredeemably rotten savages and elves as noble spreaders of civilization rather appealing for obvious reasons. No, that's you guys. You guys are the people that think orcs are black. Okay, you guys see that. Orcs are tainted elves. But Amazon pushed back against the racist backlash, and subsequent trailers were far more polished, promising an adventurous return to Middle-earth. With an eye-watering budget that aimed to replicate the production quality of the blockbusters, including the cost of securing the rights, the series cost no less than $715 million. No, actually, it's the most expensive. It's like $1 billion. Like, this is nothing compared to how much it actually cost. So that's another lie. According to the Wall Street Journal, leading to the Rings of Power being labeled the most expensive series ever made. And that's what it is, and it was the most expensive flop. A golden turd. Polish a turd, it's still a turd. After the first 2 episodes dropped, critics were impressed. No, they weren't. Well, yeah, because you guys were getting paid off by Amazon. And the public reaction was mixed. Only stupid people liked it. Somewhat muted by the slow pace of the series, but the backlash remained loud, and the show was review bombed by trolls. No, actually, what was happening was people who didn't like the show were making their voice heard, and then, as it continues to go on, which led Amazon taking an unusual step of locking user reviews for 72 hours. Which they didn't just lock it for 72 hours. They went well beyond their timeline. They then went in to start deleting. They started deleting stuff. I did a video where they admitted to deleting things. IMDb is owned by Amazon. Amazon was deleting. These places were locking us out and silencing us and only bolstering the 10-star reviews that seemed to have one sentence like, it was great, it was this, it was that. And then deleting 1-star reviews that said, it was crap, it was this, it was that. They even said, if you said it was cringe, they deleted that. They said that's not allowed. The show had inevitably become a high-profile battleground for the ongoing culture war, becoming a popular topic for reactionary YouTubers to rant about. No, it was you guys who were reactionary. We said from the start it was going to be bad, and we didn't like it. Kyle R. Siebel, who I don't know who he is, it's not a fetish, it's not really, but lately as a treat, I've been watching some of those Tolkien. This is a guy that doesn't actually care. As the series progressed, it became clear that a significant portion of the audience was only tuning in to hate watch, making fun of storytelling and pointing out deviations from Tolkien canon, which were sometimes inconsequential and other times ill-advised. No, actually, we did it a lot, and we pointed out how stupid it was. Again, go to This Is Mordor Country to see just some of the decanonization. Heck, go to the last 2 months of FNT where they broke it apart day by day. This quote crystallizing what irritates me so much about it, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to care because they didn't care. There was also a disappointing amount of anger and mockery directed toward Galadriel, played by Morgan Clark. A spiky, disagreeable character whose obsession with Sauron drives the main plotline of the series. By the end of the first season, Galadriel's paranoia is proved correct, but her actions have sparked disastrous consequences. Yeah, we always knew it was going to be that way, you dumb person! This is a prequel that should never have been made. And if it does get made, it should have been in the hands of people who definitely weren't Amazon. You bleeding retard. Words. I do them. Galadriel was insistently labeled a Mary Sue and a Karen and became a focal point for angry fans. Because she survived a pyroclastic explode. I'm probably saying that right. She survived a volcanic explosion, a pyroclastic flow. I'm still probably saying that wrong. She defeated Numenorean soldiers, which one, she never did in the actual story, but two, could not have done because even Numenorean soldiers were the best. She was a Mary Sue. She had no faults, and the only fault that she ended up having was, I'm not as awesome, and I blame myself. And that came out of nowhere. Her humility came from nowhere. She was a Karen. I love this tweet, by the way. Day 4 of hating #Amazon, #Rings of Power, #Galadriel is nothing more than a combination of Wait. Oh, this person's on our site. God freaking... I hate this. They don't have this at any way congruent. So, you got this guy. Explain your problems with the show without talking about the books. The writing is awful. It's like they are talking in high poetry the entire time, and it's bad. Nothing and no one seems well thought out. The action is terrible. Mary Sue for Galadriel. Timeline is all jacked up. People seem to teleport. Mixed races in the same tribe makes no sense. Which, again, that doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't. Because dwarves live underground. There is no sunlight. Elves are born at night under starlight. Doesn't make sense. You have people that are actually black within Tolkien's fantasy and the human world, but you can't do that because those guys are the Haradrim, and you're not allowed to show the Haradrim because they're bad. And of course, our beloved Gary. Hail to Gary. Of course, it was Galadriel's idea to make 3 elven rings. Tolkien is spinning in his grave. #the Rings of Power. Yeah, it wasn't her idea. She wasn't there. At one point, Elon Musk joined in, tweeting that Tolkien is turning in his grave, complaining all the male characters were unlikable and that only Galadriel is brave, smart, and nice, which aside from being a childish observation, simply wasn't true. It was true! These people are broken and stupid. As the weeks passed, the critics segment of the fan base continued to complain. While those who enjoyed it kept fairly quiet. The show never really managed to seize zeitgeist, failing to inspire popular memes or social media discourse. Oh no, there was memes, alright. Memes aplenty! Oh, you gotta love her love of riding horses. The sea is always right. My wife was drowned. The sea is always right. You gotta love that stuff. Oh, we had fun. We had fun tearing it apart. Beyond hate watching, soon it became obvious that the series was being outshined by HBO's House of the Dragon, which managed to retain the quality of Game of Thrones' best seasons. Rings of Power wasn't the flame, which, by the way, House of the Dragon, the last episode, was shit. Rings of Power wasn't the flaming disaster that naysayers had predicted, but it wasn't particularly good. Indeed, few were still talking about it. The show's haters seemed to be driving the vast majority of discourse, while earnest fans of the show were accused of being Amazon shills. Even the work... I'm going to read this one because I don't know who this guy says. Ultra gay... What the hell? Even the work... woke media shills can't defend Amazon Rings of Power. Amazon can't buy reviews and delete reviews fast enough. Already low viewership continues to shed. It's so much more than the desecration of Tolkien's work and lore breaking. Everything woke turns to poop. Yep. I actually like that guy. Traveler, The Rings of Power. Imagine being so toxic that you literally can't fathom the possibility that people who saw the pre-screening of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power actually enjoyed it and think it's actually good. No, that can't be possible. They had to have been paid off by Amazon. Clearly they're shills. They are, though! They were! Oh my god! They literally were paid off. They got free crap. Again, all documented, all shown. Hey, have the Rings of Power, Uber fans that they had pulled out, have they made any content on this show yet? Oh, one did, and she said, oh, I'm watching House of the Dragon right now. I'm waiting till that gets over. But, I'm liking House of the Dragon a whole lot. So Rings of Power has a lot of work to do. God, you're stupid! You did no research with this, Forbes. Generally, the series proved unevenly paced and had a strange approach to Tolkien's lore, referencing very obscure elements of Tolkien's work while deviating significantly from canon. Hence, much of the show felt inaccessible to those unfamiliar with Tolkien's legendarium, while dedicated Tolkien fans were often infuriated by the lore breaking, which led to the series being labeled expensive fanfiction. Maybe Tolkien... See, this one right here, this little paragraph right there, maybe, just maybe, the people who you're accusing to being trolls are actually this group. You think maybe that's the case, Forbes? Retards, all of them. During the finale, the sluggish pace of the series suddenly quickened, and the story sped through some important plot twists, like a student rushing to finish an essay after midnight. Sauron was revealed to be a guy who looks like the default option of every fantasy RPG character creation screen, and Gandalf was given a clunky origin story which explained why he likes hobbits so much. See, even Forbes thinks totally not Gandalf is Gandalf. Gandalf shouldn't even be there in the Second Age. He doesn't come until the Third Age with the rest of the wizards. God, this article's stupid and making me do bad things. But then, this whole plot twist that, Halbrand Sauron? Yeah, we knew all along. Looks could be deceiving from episode 2! Actually, fun fact, the guy you shat on up here, Nerdrotic, yeah, he has a friend called Heel vs. Babyface. They had the leaked information, and they were telling us what was happening before the show even aired. We knew Halbrand was Sauron before you guys did because you're stupid. Hell, the show even tells you he's Sauron. The titular Rings of Power were forged at lightning speed after Sauron informs the Mastersmith Celebrimbor that he could perhaps strengthen a metal's properties by using an alloy. Celebrimbor's mind is blown by the suggestion. Celebrimbor is a Mastersmith and should know that. Halbrand, Sauron, had nothing to do with the actual forging of these 3 Rings of Power. That was all Celebrimbor, okay? And then the elven form that Sauron took, whose name is escaping me, because again, I'm horrible with names. Yeah, he was the gift giver. He actually had nothing to do with these rings other than maybe an idea. That's about it. from the creators of Halbrand teaching Galadriel about politics, come Halbrand teaching Celebrimbor how to be a smith. Oh, shut up! The Rings of Power wasn't terrible, but it wasn't Tolkien, and it wasn't really its own thing either. The series' blatant attempt to echo the Jackson trilogy, such as hiring the same composer, repeating the design of the Balrog, and copy and pasting lines from the trilogy invited unflattering comparisons. Yeah, it was. You guys wanted to use the Jackson trilogy to try to help your show, but you failed miserably. Really enjoying Rings of Power, but Jackson's trilogy remains untouchable. I think we just need to accept that the Rings of Power isn't Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it isn't going 100% with Tolkien's mythos. That being said, it's still a fine show with a lot of admire about it. Yeah, no, it didn't. No, it was shit. It was shit the whole time. At times, the series felt more like Skyrim than it did Middle-earth, a Tolkien-esque fantasy world inhabited by NPCs with bad haircuts. You're disparaging Skyrim now, you twat. Throwing out clunky lines and exposition before randomly exiting the room. All the money poured into the series and all the increasingly ridiculous debates seem in hindsight like monumental waste of time. It was fine, and in the current hyper-competitive and oversaturated streaming landscape, mere mediocrity isn't enough to stand out. But The Lord of the Rings is a powerful IP and will likely always find an audience enthusiastic or critical. The fan base is always going to pay attention to adaptations. Even if they spend every week complaining, they're still watching. Yeah, you're right. We are watching. We're watching how this show failed to actually do anything. This insider report that I still have to go through, but has been reported on vigorously, shows that 71% of the show's audience is 35 years older in the US. By comparison, 68% of the audience for HBO's own fantasy series, House of the Dragon, is in 18 to 49 range. That means only millennials were watching this show. Like, this, it failed. It failed to do what it wanted to do. Amazon's Lord of the Rings of Power, may have struggled to attract young viewers, 71%. Other data suggests the show had a limited reach when it came to online engagement. Yeah, actually, the show was shit, and some of these, we'll use some of these. A lot of these had no interaction. Like, none. But then, not all evil came from Lord of the Rings. And I'm only going to play a segment because I still haven't listened to this. And shout out to George. Jesus, George the Giant Slayer. George, you are a god amongst men. You are the light in the darkness. And he made a video turning Galadriel into a Karen. And I just want to play a part of it. I haven't actually seen it yet. George, you're an amazing man. He's got a beautiful soul. That origami is cultural appropriation. I identify as Asian, you idiot. Well done, Galadriel. Now demand to talk to the manager. Oh, I love George, and I'm gonna end it with that because we need. I raged. I literally haven't seen any of this yet. But George is a brilliant man. I'm coming down from my rage-filled indecency based because of Forbes. But even Bounding made an article on this, and that's fantastic. So George, you're fantastic. I'm gonna link the whole video down in my description. Guys, go check out all the people I'm linking, everything that I'm linking. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. Share it out. I'm coming down from my rage because of this dreaded thing. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Again, bestest buddy stream tonight, so I'll see you all there. Bye for now.